Hello collectors, and welcome to my review of the SH MonsterArts Mothra Larva and Battra Larva set. The set includes both larva forms of the moths in the Heisei series instead of releasing them as individual releases. The price tag is a hefty $100 at MSRP, and it's a Bandai Premium Web Shop exclusive. Some are wondering if these little buggers are worth it, so let's take a look and see whether or not this set is worth adding into your collection. Beginning with the Battra larva, it's easy to tell real care went into the sculpting of these two. The details are meticulous, as you can see here, and every nook and cranny looks wonderful and full of life. The paint may leave a tad bit to be desired for some, but even so, it still looks amazing. Taking a closer look at Battra's back, you can see the crimson paint running down it in a nice line, along with the yellowish-orangish dry brushing found all throughout Battra's back. The tip even has some fantastic detailing in the paint department, with the yellowish dry brushing on the spikes here, as you can see. The underside of Battra also has some great detailing. He has many spikes, claws, whatever you would prefer to call them, on him, and they all feature this amazing paint technique which really brings them to life. It's fantastic. Moving up to Battra's head, you can clearly see the dry brushing for the yellow-orange paint here. While it looks good, great to probably some, I feel there's a tad bit too much paint in the areas. Maybe they should have held back a little bit on the paint, but still, it looks very nice. Speaking of the head, the eye area features an amazing compound eye effect which uses translucent plastic, and this plastic is pretty much used for the whole head. You can see this used for the horn and the upper areas of the head right about here. And here's a great shot of the head with a flashlight in it. It simply looks incredible. Despite its small, very small size, the Mothra larva has great detailing too. Sure, not like the giant Battra larva, but in hand the details really pop. Little grooves and dimples can be found here and there. And surprisingly, the paint isn't bad at all, despite what some pictures may show. And those eyes really pop on the shelf too. Looking at them first, they're this nice metallic blue color, which I really love. And staying with the head, you can see all of these little grooves here and there, and it's really neat to see in hand. Taking a look at the underside, you can see the nice detailing here and there, which is honestly surprising since you won't be looking at it too much. The wrinkles on the main body are pretty sweet too. And for those curious, here's a look at Mothra's backside. So as you can see, these two look wonderful, and any collector who appreciates an amazing sculpt would be an absolute fool to pass on this set. I absolutely love it. Starting off with Battra for the articulation, after first glance and handling him for a little bit, you'll notice that he has a ton of articulation and there's a lot of engineering put into it. Unfortunately though, when you get to the main body of Battra, the tail, say, segment of him, you'll notice that, well, there's a lot of articulation, but not a whole lot of range. So to begin with the articulation for Battra on his head, you first have these tusks, pincers, the big ones, and they are attached on ball joints. So you can spin them around, move them freely, rock them around. And then you have these smaller ones here that are on the maw of the Battra larva. And they're on ball joints too, like I said. And the mouth is on a hinge, which opens and closes in one direction. Now for these smaller ones, I wouldn't really move them around so much because I think they're on a ball joint due to a contingency plan, because if you happen to slip with your finger, if it's too tough to move the mouth open, then if they weren't on a ball joint, you just shear them straight off. So move them with great caution. Next up on this big bug, on the, say, neck and main body area, you have a ball joint here, a ball joint here, and a ball joint here. So you're going to be able to get quite a bit of movement out, and you're going to be able to get Battra to twist and turn and move his head up and down, and slightly twist it over to the side and to the other side. So pretty much you're going to be able to get the exact amount of articulation you would like. But fortunately, there's a little bit of engineering here, which allows Battra to really utilize all of those joints. On Battra's back, there is this piece of sculpt right here, which is on a ball joint, maybe a hinge joint, I'm not entirely too sure. But basically it lifts up. It's how I was able to stick the flashlight into his head earlier. And with this, you can actually move Battra's head up even more. And it doesn't break up the sculpt at all. Really, unless you were told about it, you wouldn't even be able to tell that this was basically a hood for the lower part of his back. So as you can see, you can really lift his head up, which is great engineering in my book. Continuing down the body of Battra, these spikes, claws here, these 3 sets, they all have ball joints in them, mostly found at the base of Battra's body. You can move this set here around. The set below it has identical articulation. And then the set below that also has the same type of articulation here at the base of the body, but at the tip, I guess you could say where the nail, the claw would be, whatever you would prefer to call it, there's also a ball joint. So you can move that around too. Really, though, it's kind of expressive, though not too much. Finally, continuing with the rest of Battra's body, or the tail, as I guess some would like to call it, from here all the way down, it's nothing but ball joints, as you can see. You can bend it up, down, left, right, but unfortunately, as you can see here, there's not really too much in terms of the range of movement. So, yeah, you're going to be able to get Battra to move around a little bit, but unfortunately all of these spikes, claws, whatever you would prefer to call them, and the actual bulkiness of the overall suit, you're not really going to be able to get too much motion out of it except for the back portion of the body here. But you can twist it and turn it, including here at the tip. And you can even do that to the main body, even so much so where you can flip Battra upside down. Woo! The other bugger in this set, though, yeah, perfect. A whole bunch of ball joints, and really it's sort of like working with a tail. But first and foremost, you have the mouth on a hinge, and the 2 parts to the mouth open, and then they close. Then you have the pincers here, again on ball joints, just like Battra's, though I think that these really aren't supposed to be meant to be moved around too much. Again, just like as a safety precaution, just in case you open the mouth and you push a little bit too hard with your thumb. That way you don't just shear them off at the base. And then from here down to the rest of the body, ball joints. It's like moving a tail around. It's pretty awesome. Now, this Mothra also comes with another gimmick. If you pay close attention in the movies, you'll sort of notice that all of the Mothra larvae sort of inch their way through a city or in a field, what have you. Well, Bandai was really able to recreate this in the MonsterArts, because as you can see, if you just gently pull, you can expand the different parts of Mothra's body, and you can squish them back together. Woo! The reason why I say gently is that in the instruction manual, the little pamphlet that you get, it does give a warning when pulling. Not sure what this is for, maybe it's just that you're going to disconnect the ball joints, but still, be careful with it. So overall in the articulation department, some may feel a little let down since Battra really doesn't have a lot of range of movement for the main body, and there's some, well, I guess you could say it's pointless articulation, mostly in the front spikes, claws there, because, I mean, it's not really that expressive, and Mothra is absolutely perfect. But, factoring in the designs and what joints there are, for me, personally, I think the articulation is just right on the 2 of these. In the accessory department, Mothra gets everything while Battra gets the shaft. Yep. Sorry there, big guy. You're not a part of this portion of the review. So with Mothra, you get a special pedestal stand. As you see here, it comes in 2 parts out of the box. You get this circular base, and you get this special arm part, which plugs into the base, and there's no articulation on this, so Mothra is always going to have to look up. And, well, putting Mothra on this base is pretty simple. Just, yeah, that's it. To go along with that, Mothra also gets the webbing string effect part. Yeah. And using it, it's really simple. On the inside of Mothra's mouth there, you'll see that there's a teeny tiny little hole. And as you're probably able to guess, and this web shot effect part fits perfectly into the mouth of Mothra, like so. And with the display stand, you can display Mothra firing her webbing. Well, that's it for the accessories. So, yeah, it's pretty light, but Bluefin has said that if we included anything else, the price of the set would have already gone up, but it's already $100, so it's kind of like at that point, who cares? We're already paying enough for these, so we should get everything else that comes along with it. So, I guess keeping price in mind, everything's fine, but it's kind of dumb, I think, to include the effect part for one character, but not the other, personally. But, like I said, what we get, I guess it kind of makes sense. When it comes to the scale for this set, they're just the right size. To start things off, here they are alongside some 6-inch scale Godzillas. Here they are with NECA's very large Pacific Rim Kaiju. Here they are with some Ultra Act Kaiju. Here they are with the other, smaller, baby form SH MonsterArts figures. And alongside some of the larger SH MonsterArts figures. Here, with the MonsterArts Godzillas, they'll probably be paired with the most. Here are both forms of Battra. And finally, here's the MonsterArts Larva with the MonsterArts Imago form and the Rebeltech Imago form, just in case you're hoping to mix and match the lines together. So, as you can clearly see, when it comes to sizing, the Battra Larva is very, very big, as it should be, and the Mothra Larva is very small, as it should be. Perfect for any 6-inch Heisei display. So, buy the set now, skip it, or wait for a sale. When it comes down to it, despite a few flaws which may vary from person to person, they both look completely amazing. Very detailed, very accurate. Unfortunately, due to the design, Battra's not moving a whole lot, but the articulation definitely is appreciated, while Mothra has more than enough joints for a super happy fun time. Accessories for Mothra only. Again, kinda sucks they only went halfway with this, but I guess it's about a price point for an expensive collectible line. Okay. Overall, the set is awesome. I encourage those on the fence to get it. Yes, the $100 MSRP might scare some, but this set was awesome as soon as I opened it, and it's still awesome now. The set is definitely Figure of the Year material.